Fiancé thinks I am the bottom for not converting. Throwaway is my main he follows. I've never posted on this sub before, so please delete if not allowed. I, F35, and my fiancé Todd, M41, met over a decade ago and we have a mutual friend group. We started dating last year and got engaged last month. Generally speaking, he treats me like a queen. He spoils me a lot and I appreciate it always. He's usually respectful and kind, communicative and patient with me. This started to change, and I want to say it started to change once the ring was accepted. I need to be clear, I don't much care to get married. I am perfectly fine with not. My parents aren't married, but they have been in love and together for over 40 years. My siblings are all but one unmarried but in seemingly happy relationships, each at least for 5 years. But Todd is Christian and is of the mind that two people eventually need to get married to be happy. We talked about it at length both before we were a couple and after we started dating. I was clear that I don't want or need a ring, but if it's important to a partner I come to love, then whatever. I will do a small wedding. He was overjoyed when he proposed and I said yes in front of pretty much everyone in our little world, but later said that I didn't seem excited enough and it felt like I didn't want to marry him. I said I love him and if he wants a marriage then sure, but to say I want to marry? I mean, I know he wants to, and if that's what he wants, and since it doesn't matter to me either way, the math was easy. Let's get married. I said it sort of jokingly to lighten the mood, but he didn't like that at all, and nearly every other day he would find a way to ask me if I really wanted to marry him, or he would simply that he feels like I don't. I suggested couples therapy as it seems to really be on his mind and troubling him, and he said he's done therapy before and doesn't need to do it again. Then last week, on our usual date night, he said he had something really big to ask me. Call it a favor if that makes it better, and asked me to come to his church and get baptized. I stared at him. I am atheist and have been since I was mid-20s. He has known that for years, and we've always been respectful of each other's beliefs. I told him I couldn't do that. Baptism is supposed to be sacred and with a true heart for that faith, and I simply would be a liar if I said I wanted to live for his God, because I frankly don't. He argued that it's just a splash of water and some words, and since he wants it before our wedding and I don't care about religion either way, this should be easy. I refused again, explaining that I do care about religion. My majors were world religions and anthropology. I care a lot. And it would be dishonest to his God and our community for me to dedicate my life to his religion outwardly but not inwardly. I said it felt disrespectful to his faith and the people who truly live it. He got angry with me. Oh, so you're okay, disrespecting me, though, and when I asked what he meant, he said to drop it and change the subject. I pressed more, but he raised his voice. I said drop it. Loud enough for others to turn and look at us. He'd been robotic around me since. Days up in his study all night, sleeps on his study couch, goes to every service and event/gathering his church has, which is most weekday nights and Saturday morning as well as Sunday, and has been inviting me to every single one. He hadn't done that since we started dating. He did it then. I said I respect his beliefs and will go to something like a wedding or christening or baptism, but not a simple service or event. When he asked me just a few minutes ago tonight, I reminded him of the above and he just dropped into our couch and sobbed, and when I went over to comfort and talk to him, he pushed me away and left muttering something about running late for service. His sister Esther texted me to ask what happened and I gave a brief summary, and she texted back that I am being a jerk and one service isn't going to make me burst into flames and it's important to Todd. So am I being a bonehead? Am I crazy to think that this pressure is a deal breaker? I do love him, but this version of him is not only a stranger to me but a weight on me. But aren't people supposed to work through the hard shit to get on in a relationship? Edit to update. He texted me a few minutes ago saying when he gets home he wants to have a serious talk. I explained that my best friend is over so it will have to wait, and he replied no. Tell her to leave. Give her my love, but this is serious. I talked with my bestie Bessie F35 and read some of the comments here and told him no indeed. He can go home to his parents, and he is welcome to come in and pack a bag and leave because Bess is here for me right now, and I need her here for me right now. He hasn't responded. Edit to respond to things that have come up a lot either in messages or comments. He has never raised a hand to me. He would never, and if it's not for the reason I used to think, that he's not a disc, it would at least be because I am a military brat. Both parents. So not only am I trained to defend myself well, but my parents ahem would not take kindly. A lot of people brought up kids. I can't get pregnant. I did want kids and then this happened. So now I am okay with the idea of not having any. He said he was okay with that too, and we talked about just being dog rescue people. My family likes him. My father, a pastor, loves the guy. But no, I haven't told him about this yet. He is non-denominational and goes to a mega church in our state. Literally thousands of people. No, it is not a requirement for marriage at his church for me to convert. Update. Last week I posted about a problem between myself, F35, and my fiancé Todd, M41, because despite having been respectful of each other's beliefs until now, he is Christian and I am an atheist, he now wants me to get baptized. It came to a head and he stormed out, so I called my BFF to keep me company since I was pretty sad and emotional. I do a lot for him and Bess, the bestie, and a lot of you here helped me see that the relationship as is either needs to have serious changes to it or it needs to end. Logical. But logic is hard to cling to when you're heartbroken. I think I already knew he wouldn't change anything for me. I did text him that night that he needs to go back to his parents' house, the house we live in is mine, and that I needed space. Guess he and his sister gave his parents an alternate version of events because they came by that night anyway. All of them. His mom, dad, sister Esther, and him. He had a key, so he just walked in as Bess and I are drinking on the couch watching Netflix. I asked what he was doing here, and his family came into the room behind him. I asked what's going on. The way he looked at me is unexplainable, but his mom pushed by him and just yanked me into a very aggressive hug. She said that they were here to talk as a family and have a family meeting. And then told Bess she needed to leave. Bess refused. His mom turns to me to ask me to have Bess leave. I refuse. It's late, and I'm in not state to talk anything else. Please leave. It devolves into passive-aggressive disapproval that I won't take guidance from the man I plan to marry. His parents, his father is a pastor, sat down to give me what felt like a whole pre-planned spiel about how I am an adult and need to act like one, and kicking a man out of his home for doing the right thing is a tantrum. His dad once even said that he is so disappointed in me and will be telling my father, also a pastor, about this. Gotta be honest, I was dumbfounded for 85% of this, and then finally, I guess it was the booze, started to laugh and told them to get out. His dad refused and called me volatile and suggested I get counseling. I told him this is my house, and I will call the police and to get the fug out. It was the first time I cussed in front of them. Pearls were clutched, I was called trashy, and Bess held her phone like, okay, I am calling the cops, she asked you to leave. I heard his dad say you're not marrying that as they left, and they muttered other hurtful things, making a whole thing of them being sad and disappointed by me. They left. Todd packed a bag and left with them. He continued to text me invites to services. It will help you. Stating that he is concerned about me and the path I am choosing. That his parents aren't sure he should marry me, but he loves me and wants what's best for me. I told him I need space and to leave me alone, but he kept texting. I said that the wedding is off, and Sunday when I got home from running errands he was on the porch crying. He had a handwritten letter that he wanted to read to me, but I said absolutely not and told him to go away. He kept asking me to think about what I am doing and how my choices affect more than just myself and more. I pointed to my doorbell cam and said I have footage of me repeatedly asking him to leave, and Bess was recording the night his parents and sister, and he ganged up on me. Go away. He threw his hand up like he was going to strike me, and I just screamed. I didn't even mean to, it was so sudden and it scared me. He went to start apologizing, but a neighbor came out to see what was happening and he just left. I texted him to never come back ever, he is no longer welcome. I will mail his stuff to his parents, but he is no longer welcome on my property ever again. He tried to apologize, but I no longer care to hear any of his words. He did leave his written letter and I have read it. So has Bess. She keeps telling me it's just manipulation, but it just breaks me. The locks get changed tomorrow. Bess is helping me pack his shit. His father is picking up his stuff tonight. And I am just sitting here replaying the past week and a half in my head over and over. I know it's pathetic, but I am shattered. I haven't been able to really sleep yet, and I feel like I don't even reside in my own body anymore. Just going through the motions. Bess is staying with me. I've been getting texts and social media comments about how disgusting I am, like my notifications just went insane over the weekend. This is just a nightmare and I'm not even sure how to wade through this. Edit. I am so overwhelmed by the comments and support. I am trying to reply, but I am tired and still a bit out of my head. I do appreciate everyone who is making me laugh. I needed that fun-loving energy. Bess is making us dinner, so hopefully I can eat something. Thank you all so much for the hugs and support.